Let me say that one more time. You got to learn to trust yourself more than you do anybody else that you know. And I know that sounds strange for me to tell you that, but I got to put the story behind it. For most of my life, I would say up until I was about 19 years old, I didn't trust myself. I knew that I had to lean heavily on my parents, on my family, that whatever they said, that was the right thing to do. That even though my mind might have been telling me to do this or go here or to say this or say that, that ain't what you need to do. And some people don't grow up like that. Some people grow up and they got mouths from the sounds and they believe whatever they got to say matter. I didn't grow up like that. I grew up and it wasn't that I was oppressed or suppressed. It was just my nature. I just grew up that whatever authority was in place, that authority was the right thing to follow. That's what I trusted. And inadvertently, I didn't have the tools that I needed to build self-trust. So I spent a lot of my time growing up as a young girl looking for somebody that I can trust to tell me what was best for me. And how many out there like that? Just say me, 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 me. Maybe y'all might not understand, but it's true. I spent my life looking for friends, looking towards family, looking towards men, looking towards jobs, looking towards whatever it is that I could put around me where I could give somebody the responsibility of telling me what was best for me. I didn't understand. I didn't trust myself. And let me tell you something. After just a few, and this is honest to God, after a few failed relationships, I really didn't trust myself. I literally used to be the person walking around in the group saying, you know what, I can help everybody else with theirs, but I have a horrible, my man picker is broke. It does not work. Everything else in my life is good, but when it comes to picking a man, it's broke, it's done. I always pick the wrong person. I never pick anybody that's going to be on my side. You know, I had like this whole criteria. But then I had to learn about 10 years ago that wasn't true. And I know that was really old to learn that. But probably when I was about 35 years old, things started to change. I began to understand that I had lived 35 years of my life catering my life around everybody else's life. Meaning this, that I had my own identity, but literally when I came out of my first marriage, I couldn't even tell you what my favorite color was. My favorite color was his favorite color. My favorite food was his favorite food. The type of music I liked was the type of music he liked. And I knew that because going into the marriage, it was very distinct things that I really loved about myself, things that I cherished about myself. But whenever I got into that relationship, I just said, okay, well, I don't know best. He know best. So I'm just going to lean on him. And that's the mindset I went into. And I went into that mindset with every relationship that I went into. And I always had that struggle trying to figure out, well, why am I not joyful? And y'all know today is joy. Why am I not feeling good? Why I don't have that happiness and that bubbliness? Why do I feel like this is a struggle? Why do I feel like I'm still a kid? Or I feel like I'm that woman that don't have any power? You get what I'm saying? And so around 35 years old, something shifted on the inside of me. And I want to say that God touched me. I really, really do. I think when I turned 35 was the day that I became a true grown woman. For real, for real. Even though I had kids, had been married twice, I became a woman at 35. And it was at 35 that I began to realize that being self-secure in myself and in my position in this world is important and valuable. And if I didn't forge a place for myself in this world, in relationships, in my motherhood, in my friendships, if I didn't begin to forge a space that was dedicated to me and what I like, how I want to do things, and bring out that alpha woman in me that had always been there, that I didn't ever recognize, that I was going to spend the rest of my life looking for somebody to lead me and to be in charge of me and to be ahead of me. And guess what? I had already I had opened up my first salon when I was 27 years old. So I had started doing hair when I was 25. I opened up my first salon in 1995. And so I had been a business owner, self-employed for many years. But it wasn't until that shift happened in my mind. And then it didn't come to full value until I was 40 years old. So you got to think, that's like 12 years had passed by. 12 12, 13 years had passed by before it really just hit me that I needed to make some situations in my life that helped me to become self-secure. Having self-confidence. Let me tell you what self-confidence is. And when I say self-secure, I'm talking about self-confidence. Self-confidence is confidence in oneself and in one's power and abilities. Now listen, people all day long, oh girl, you could do hair, you could do hair. To be honest with you, I just believed what they said. Because in my mind, I could always be better. I'm even that way now, but I have more confidence because I really do know that I know what I'm doing. But it really depends on how many customers I have who will pay for my services. That to me was the proof that I was doing good, because if you pay for it, it must be good. But then I found out later on in my career that people pay for stuff that even if it's not the best, they'll pay for it because they like the person, or they just want something that's convenient, and whatever it is they offer. The hairstyle might not be the best. Literally, I know a stylist personally that has been in business the exact same amount of time as me, and will tell you that they're not good. And God knows on everything, straight up and down. I mean, for real. I mean, from a perspective of a person that's an educator, a judge, and the hair. I mean, they not the best of the best by far. I mean, when I tell you beauty school coming out, straight beauty school still 30 years later, like literally just roller sets, maybe an updo, but straight hair and flat. That's it. Nothing, no bright, nothing. But have been thriving in business for the same amount of time I have. Thriving in business. I'm talking about thriving, have a clientele, and that used to blow my mind. I think I'm over here doing the most. We over here doing the most, me and all the other stylists that I know, and you over here just flat down the hair and doing a roller set. Out of work at a certain time and certain days, you will not work, never have worked for your whole 20 plus years. So it was at that point that I realized, when I had a conversation where we laugh about it, I'm like, you ain't doing it. She said, nope. She said, I'm going to stay in my lane. And her being in her lane, being secure in her position, kept her in business all these years, still in business right now. So that was something that I had to understand about self-confidence. Self-confidence is confidence in one's power, what you're capable of doing, the influence that you have, and the abilities that you have to share. Self-esteem is a confidence and satisfaction with one's self-respect. That was something that I lacked, and that's something that you have to remember to keep. We oftentimes have what they call low self-esteem, and I think it might have been Eddie Murphy or one of the comedians, maybe I can't remember who the comedian was, but first Cat Williams was the first person I ever heard say that. That's what it was. He said they call it self-esteem because it don't matter what the F nobody else say. You have to esteem yourself. You are responsible for building your esteem, not mama, daddy, sister, cousin, boyfriend, girlfriend, friends. You are responsible, not your money, not what you driving, not what you living in. You are responsible for building your self-esteem. Your self-respect starts with you. If you don't respect yourself, who are you thinking going to respect you? If you don't respect yourself as a force, as a confident force, if I didn't respect myself as a salon owner and a veteran in this industry, who can I expect to have that same respect for me? Who could have confidence in what I say and say it really don't matter about the mistakes and what anybody else says, because I know who I am and I know my position and I know my power and abilities and influence, and I understand how to use those things. And even in business with all that in place, you still have to have a coach. You need a mentor. That's something that's a part of growing. But growing up, I didn't have that self-confidence and self-esteem that I needed. Nor was I secure in myself until I went to college. And I came out of childhood. I kind of experienced life. I lacked all the above. It was so hard for people. I was such a people pleaser. And it was really difficult for me to really receive from my friends because I was so busy trying to make them happy and make them laugh. People to this day trip me out. People say, girl, you so funny. And I'm like, what am I joking about? I always made sure I was in a place that required me to show up, not to lead and not to be responsible. I didn't mind working in the background and being that person in the background. I was cool. I was like, and I would literally tell people, look, you can have the stage. Let me stay out front. Let me stay in the back. I'm good. I'm better in the back. Let me work back in the room. I remember the first time that I went to Avalon took me to Tallahassee, Florida, with all the leaders, and they did a show. They did a nice show down. It was a very nice size show down in Tallahassee, and I was really excited. But in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm just gonna go down here. What am I gonna do? Now, mind you, I had been on stage before with Salon Finish, but it was a little different because it was very laid back, and it was always another educator that was there that was more experienced than me. Until one time, the guy left me on stage. It was like 500 people standing in front of me. I'm like, duh. I said, what am I supposed to do? He said, do hair. He said, do hair. I was like, oh, okay. And so I just started doing hair, and people asked me questions, and I was very comfortable because I knew what I was doing, and what they asked me, I was able to answer it. So that kind of pushed me into knowing that I did want to do platform work and educating. But when I got in the place where I was down there with the people from Avalon. Avalon is a global brand. It's a global brand. And these educators coming from Chicago, they coming from Atlanta, they coming out of Philly. Me and one lady, we were coming out of North Carolina, but see, she had already been with them, so she was already elevating. I'm like, ooh. I said, okay. I said, I'm just going to play it safe. I'm going to lay back here. I'm going to kind of feel the room. You know how you do that when you get around people? I'm like, I'm going to feel the room and see what's going on, because I was like, I know I ain't about to do nothing. So the one stylist, the lead stylist came in. She said, okay, we got these 4 people we got to do. We got to get them out in an hour and a half. Because the person who owned the place where we did the hair and prep, they were late. And we had deadlines we had to meet. I mean, and when you working when you working on the show, when you got deadlines. You ain't got all day to play with their hair. When you're doing somebody that got to do you're doing a runway show, or you're doing platform, whatever, or they got to get in front of the camera, and you can't be like, oh, I'm just, you got to snap it. That's why some of them hairdos look like they're on TV, because them hairstylists have to put it together. We be like, we could have did better. They probably could have did better, but the time ran out. So she was like, you got an hour and a half. And she looked at me, and she bought me this girl that was completely natural. And at the time, I don't even think she was trying to be natural. They just pulled her off the street. And I'm looking around like everybody else picked out the clients they want. And they gave me this girl, her hair all ate up and nappy. She said, well, I need you to make her look fly. And I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? She said, put a relaxer, cut it, and color it. I said, relax and color it in the same day? She said, yeah, she don't know how to do that. I was like, I said, I don't, but she said, do what you know how to do. So I went in, cut the hair, did a pre-cut, relaxed it. Then I fine-tuned the cut, and then she came in there. She said, okay, this is what we're going to do. She went boop, 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 boom. I'm looking at this girl hair like, Lord, please don't let this girl hair fall out in the bowl, but it didn't. And her hair came out amazing, and everybody looked at, like, oh, my God, you can really do hair? All right, that was good. You're like, okay, we're going to use you. We need you on stage. I'm like, on stage with who? They was like with them, and I mean, my whole self-esteem and confidence was just like at the bottom in this place, because, you know, even if you have good self-esteem, when you get around certain people, you have a tendency to make yourself feel like that you're not able or capable of doing those things, and you got to stop that. Because what I had to do at that moment is I had to say to myself, look, you got this. You can make it happen. Do it. And I'm back in the back working with the makeup artist, and they come and pull me out. They say, oh, where you at? You supposed to be up on stage. And I was like, oh, my God. I went up in front of it. I think it's probably about 300 people. And I'm like, oh, my Lord. They just looking at me like, who is she? And I was done. I mean, it was just so many times that I was put on the spot, and I just wasn't prepared. So I want to tell you today to do this, is that you have to make sure that you work on your self-esteem and your self-confidence. And I'm going to give you a few key factors that will help you with your self-esteem. Now, first of all, your self-confidence is only going to come from one thing, is understanding what it is that you're trying to do. Understanding the position that you want to play in. If you've never, and this is true, now, and don't take this no offense if you don't have children, but having mothered 8 kids, I am 100% confident as a mother. I feel like I'm a mother's mother. I help other mothers understand how to mother, because I have confidence in that, because I have experience. When it comes to hair cutting, when it comes to hair weaving, when it comes to color, I'm very confident in those things. So I know that I can teach other people how to do the things they want to learn how to do, because I understand the fundamentals of all of them, and I'm an expert in 2 of them. And so that confidence comes from that. So when you find yourself in lack of confidence, the only thing you have to do to build your confidence is start doing that thing that you're trying to be confident in. Do it all the time, constantly. Take classes in it, read about it, study it, consume it. That's what you do. You indulge yourself in it, and listen, and stop looking for a quick fix. I love YouTube. I absolutely love YouTube, and a lot of people love YouTube. But the problem with YouTube is people feel like that's all they need. When you're trying to build confidence in yourself in particular stages or levels, you're going to have to read some books. You're going to have to take some classes. You're going to have to get you a mentor and a coach. The one part of it that I missed for a really, really long time was not consistently having a mentor and a coach in my life. And not having that thing held me up, and I didn't realize it, not having it in place, which I heard about it years ago. And I knew plenty of people who had them, but I was just like, oh, well, I don't need that. I can just read and do. No, you need that. And once you get enough hours in it, once you get enough experience in it, your confidence will automatically come. If you're not confident that you'll be a good wife or that you'll be a good husband, the only thing you have to do is get in that position and do your very best. Nobody expects you to do anything more than your very best. If you think that somebody expects you to be super, you're thinking way too hard. Because nobody expects you to be super, because they're not super. People only expect you to do your very best. And when you do your very best, it's at that point that they have to kick in and understand where your best is. And if that best is good enough for them, then great. If it's not, it's nothing you can do about it. Because you cannot, this is where people become people pleasers. When you begin to do more than what your very best is, that means you've exceeded your own capacity, and now you're willing to compromise your comfort, who you are as a person, and the things that you believe in to make somebody else happy. And that's when you become a people pleaser, which is something that I did for a very, very long time. You have to make sure that you understand that you put yourself in a position where you, number two, get your self-esteem on point. Understand and respect yourself and understand your limits. You have to put your limits in place, because what causes us to get into a place where our confidence get low and our self-esteem get low is we get hurt. People hurt us. Sometimes it happened when we were a kid. Like I remember the first time I used to be really self-confident about my eyes. Because there's one guy that I grew up on my block. He said, oh, you look like the devil with them Chinese-looking eyes. I didn't even know what to think about that. That thing had me messed up for a long time. And so I would always try to put makeup on to change them until I got to college, and the girls were like, oh, that make you so unique. And then, I realized that it was something that was just a feature of mine. Sometimes you get disappointed by the people that you do love, and that always give you the cheering and the backing. And when they don't come through, you bottom out. You can't bottom out because somebody else don't do what they're supposed to do. And a lot of times, like what I suffered, is I was fearful of making mistakes. I was fearful that the choices or the decisions that I would make in my self-confidence and in my self-respect was not going to be good enough for somebody, or it would be wrong. And so that fear kept me locked in having low confidence and low self-esteem. But like I said, in order for you to build it, you have to get knowledge. You got to get knowledgeable about what you do. I didn't become a great hair cutter because I just was a Pivot Point alumni. I didn't become a great hair cutter simply because I went to a beauty college and not just a beauty school. I didn't become a great hair cutter because I've taken over 1,000 hours worth of haircutting classes. Well, I think I'm like right in about 5,000 hours worth of haircutting classes across my whole career. It's not because I've just taken those many classes and got all kinds of certifications. It came from me doing haircuts day in and day out, day in and day out. And not just any kind of haircut. I'm talking about precision cutting. I'm not talking about 10, 15-minute haircuts. I'm talking about for real, taking your time, making sure that thing is right. Because the more that I did it, the faster I was able to come through, and the faster I was able to develop my own techniques. Love. You got to learn to love yourself. Lack of self-love is lack of love. If you don't know how to, I said this yesterday. This is true. This is 100% true. And you might not believe it. But if you don't know how to love yourself properly, and I'm sorry to inform you, if you don't know how to love yourself right, you ain't loving them people that you think you're loving right. You're not. You can't be. Because if you don't know how to love yourself, how can you know how to love other people? I used to always say, well, I can love everybody else better than myself. I was fooling myself. I thought that I was. And because people could use me, they made me think that I were. I was loving them better, because people could take advantage of me and they knew I would always show up. It made me feel like I was giving them love, but basically I was just being used. And when the next person came around, or when they didn't need me no more, and somebody that they wanted to be around was better than me came around, they kicked me to the curb, and then they was with them, and then my feelings be hurt. My feelings was hurt because nobody want to be around nobody who don't love themselves. A person who don't love themselves, they have a heavy spirit with them, because this is all they got. The greatest gift God ever gave you was you. He gave you a body. He gave you a beautiful mind. He gave you a spirit. He gave you the ability to breathe in and out. He gave you your first gift. And if you don't understand that you your first gift to this world, then you're not going to be able to be a gift to nobody else. And that's facts and true. So you have to get to a place that you first know how to love yourself, meaning you understand you don't mind taking care of your body. I look at this show called My 600-Pound Life, and then the 1,000-pound twins. And one thing that I find is consistent across the board with people who struggle with extreme obesity is they say, I don't love myself. I'm not worthy of love. They don't have any self-love. And so they don't mind abusing themselves. When you find, when a woman is in a situation where she's being abused, or a man is being physically abused, been there, done that. Your self-love don't even exist, because your whole thing is, I must not be worthy of the right treatment because I don't mind them mistreating me. This is why people are able to use you. And in your mind, you process it like, oh, well, she can say what she wants to, because everybody always want me around. No, everybody always wants you around because you don't mind going in your pocket first. Everybody always wants you around because you don't mind showing up and doing stuff. This is where you get messed up, especially when you're talking about organizations that you're a part of. Yeah, people love you as long as you're doing. I personally experienced this when it comes to a church. As long as you giving and as long as you donating, they're there for you. They got, good morning, they there for you. They gonna hold you down. As long as you paying those tithes and those offerings, let me go on and get real. As long as you giving to them, you find the people that give the most be the people in leadership. The people who do that's what they equate to love and dedication. But the moment that your paycheck changed, the moment that you can't give that money like that, where's that love at? I'm going to tell you something even better. You can give to organizations and to churches or whatever you give into. You can give thousands. I'm talking about, man, my doggone thing at the end of the year is to be 20,000 plus in giving. Because you can't outgive God. So I wasn't even feeling no kind of way about that. But the moment that I wasn't giving no more and I reached out and said, hey, you know what I need? I need this right here. Oh, well, we ain't got it. You'll see where your love is. Learn how to love yourself first. Put yourself first, not nobody else. And let me tell you something, ain't no word in the Bible require you to put nobody before you. Because when you love God first, you automatically know how to love yourself. You got to get into that self-love thing. That's very, very important. And then you have to be secure. Security, having a security around your life, being able to know that I can move and feel and have my being the way I need to have my being, even in my own domain, at my job, in this life, that matters to us. One of the biggest struggles we have as African-American people is that we don't have the security in this country that our counterparts do. We can't have the security of walking out our front door and not being pulled over and harassed by the law enforcement. Or we don't have the security that we can take our brains and walk into this job and get it because of our brains and not because they need one dark-skinned sister in here to represent us. We don't have that security. And so that's something that we are still fighting for. But in your own control, where you are, you have to learn how to create a secure environment about you. Now, I'm not telling you to block people out and build walls up, but I am telling you to begin to understand that you having a security, understanding that, look, you require stability in your life. That's an important thing. So how to become self-secure? Begin to trust yourself. Believe in the capabilities that you have, your talents. All of us have talents. Get knowledge. Get knowledge. I cannot stress to you how important that was for me to be able to build my self-confidence is getting knowledge. Expect to win. Stop playing to lose. I tell people this all the time. Well, people are so pessimistic, worrying about what the bad may happen. You spend so much time trying to prepare for the bad not to happen or just in case the bad happen that you ain't got no strategy to win. You have to always play to win. When you play to win, it changes your mindset. So you have to, it raises your expectation. Accept the praise and compliments that other people give you. That was one of the hardest things I had to do, is learn how to say thank you. Somebody give me a compliment, I say, oh, nah, I'll find some kind of way to devalue it. Kill that. Because number one, it ain't cute, and it don't make you feel better, and it definitely don't make the person feel better that just gave you the compliment, because a person genuinely give you a compliment, be like, girl, I love your eyes. They're so beautiful. And I go into, well, yeah, girl, they all right. I look crazy. I look like an old Chinese person. They're going to look at me like, well, no, you look cute. Like, they really are pretty. You draining them for what you should be giving to yourself. Someone say, oh, your eyes are so beautiful. Oh, my God, just love your eyes. This is what I do. Thank you. That's what I'm like. Thank you. Let me take these glasses off so you can see all of them. You get what I'm saying? And you get lighthearted like that. You have to learn to accept the praise and compliments every single day. Don't never compare yourself to anybody else. Compare, never give praise when it's due. Try never to take another person's shine. It only hurts you, and it reinforces the negativity in your life. When you see somebody else getting praise, and this is something that I practice very, very religiously. When I see somebody else getting praised for having a nice salon, or, oh, they doing good hair, they got clientele, I'll go and I'll give them a compliment. I'll praise them too, because I understand that's growth. That's growth for them. I remember that journey. And to see somebody else overcome that only lifts you up even more. The moment that you begin to cut down and to throw out some bad vibes and bad energy, you don't take away from them, because they're already in their journey. What you do is you diminish yourself. Like me, whoever, and this is why I don't spend time on haters. People always don't spend no time on that. Because guess what? They're diminishing themselves by not supporting me. They're diminishing themselves by trying to judge me and say what's going on in my salon or what's going on in my life. They're diminishing themselves. They're taking away their own power. They're not taking anything away from me, because guess what? If I hear about it, I'm going to be like, oh, I don't care, because I'm in this journey. I'm in a peaceful place. My confidence is good because I know this is true, because you one person and I got 1,000 over here telling me something different. And even if the 1,000 different, didn't God already told me who I was and what I'm supposed to be? This is why you got to get the word of God in you, so you know who you are and you won't be defeated. See the good in people. Be more optimistic. This is why optimism is so important to me. And I never understood that hearing my mom say, you always think everybody got good in them. I never knew that was just me being optimistic. But you have to learn how to look for the good in people. You got to look for the good in things. Listen, even those things that God don't give you today, that's the blessing. Even the money that you need to pay your bills that you don't have, believe it or not, that's the blessing in a lesson. You get ready to learn something. So look for the good in things. As a salon owner, you got to stay focused on the big picture, or you will find yourself working day in and day out with no progress. And that go across the board from any business owner. You got to put these things into place. So try something new. Try to find your position in life. Try to find this space in your heart and yourself. When you get off today, when you get off of this tonight, look at this right here and say to yourself, you know what? Who are you? It don't matter what mom and them said, what your friends say. Who are you? And listen, you can't be, listen, guys, stop trying to be an octopus. Stop trying to be the woman with 27 personalities. You ain't got to be all them people. Find one thing and stick with it. Listen, just because you find one thing and begin to work on that don't mean that you ain't going to be able to do other stuff. It does not mean that you won't be able to do other stuff. For some reason, especially when I'm talking to people about get your target audience. Well, I deal with people all ages and all men and all areas. Okay, well, you're never going to get anything done. You're not. Because you're going to be so diluted that you're going to be ineffective. People that are the most effective people have honed in into that one little niche. And you make that thing work. And when you make that thing work and you make that thing pop, as soon as it get on a level and it get its own legs, then you can move on to the next thing. We don't want to go through the process, but what you don't understand is going through the process teaches you how the process works, and it makes the process move faster for the next thing that you're working on. If you're trying to work on too many things at one time, you're going to have all these processes going on. You're going to be more of a manager and not learning and not being able to be a leader. You can't lead nothing because you're so busy in the background trying to manipulate all this stuff around here. You want to be this. Okay, I work with my hands. There's a lot of stuff I can do. I'm an amazing cook. I'm good at hair. I'm good at makeup. I'm good at taking care of kids. I can build stuff. I have a whole toolbox that's bigger than most men. I can build stuff. I know how to put up drywall. I know how to put in 2x4s. I know how to frame up walls. I know how to clean floors. I can do a lot of stuff with my hands. This is what my gift is. This is my gift. I can write books. I can teach. I have a lot of stuff that I can do. But guess what? Can you see me trying to paint, put up drywall, put up a wall frame, do hair, do makeup, take care of babies and cook? Come on. Seriously. I understand as a mother you have to play different roles. But at some point, this is what I learned. At some point, you have to get to the place to where in order for you to be effective and efficient, in order for me to have to make that change in guard, I've been making a change in guard for 2 years, is I have to begin to hire people to do certain things. And the first thing you're going to say, I ain't got the money to hire them, but you ain't got the money not to. Because I'm going to tell you something, the moment that you put people in place to start helping you and you're paying them, you'll be surprised how much you're able to accomplish and how your money would change for you. Because guess what? You can spend more time with making your money and building your bag and getting your sack when you ain't vacuuming and trying to wash the dishes. When you ain't trying to clean up your salon and you got somebody coming in there. And it's strategic and it's creative ways that you can do this. This is why it's important to have a coach and a mentor, because they can share those things with you. It's important to have a maintenance man that is over your salon and that can come in and make sure the grass is good. If you got a link, you call him, hey, I need you to come and do this. Oh, I need this done. Boom, 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 boom. You need to have those type of people on, and then you pay them. Oh, I ain't got the money to pay them, but you ain't got the money not to pay them. You ain't got the money not to pay them. If you don't have the money to pay them, guess what's going to happen? It makes all sense in the world to me now. I didn't have all these things in place. It makes all sense in the world now that if I need a driver to drive me to the airport, well, thank God for Uber, but I do have a driver that is not an Uber that anywhere I need to go, hey, listen, I need you to drive me here because I need to focus. When I go down to Atlanta, I have a driver where I can sit back and relax. I'm the artist. I'm the person that's coming down there to teach. It's okay. I done drove for many years, don't get me wrong. But then I realized the value in having somebody else drive. I can sit back and chill. I can sit back and get my mind together and work on the things and focus on those things. So find your position in life as the person that God created you to be and watch things happen for you. Understand who you are. Listen, I understand who I am and what I'm capable of doing. But in understanding who you are, you got to know your limits. Your purpose was never created to be just one thing. So I understand that, but you have to know how to prioritize that. Highly effective habits of successful people, they strategically make moves towards things to get things done in a certain way, in a certain order, in a certain time. They don't just haphazardly get up in the morning, oh, I want to make X amount of dollars, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this. No, they have things strategically done. Have a main purpose that's supported by all your other smaller purposes. My sole purpose is to be an amazing philanthropist and to be able to employ people. That's my sole purpose right there, is to be able to give people the ability to work and to create income for themselves and to be able to give back to the community. That's my main thing. So everything that I do, even my business, everything that I do, is working towards that big goal. You got to have that one big goal that you're trying to work towards. And then you structure everything else up under it. Am I close to it? Nah, I'm way far off. But I'm active in it. And so I can appreciate that part of me. Be personable with yourself. Be personable with yourself. Meaning is, give yourself some me time. Y'all see me all this week, get my feet rubbed, my legs rubbed. Because I couldn't do nothing during the holidays. I was too busy. I was working. But I have a routine that every 2 weeks I get my pedicure done. Most of the time I go every week and get my legs and feet rubbed because I stand on them all the time, get my hands rubbed and get my back rubbed. I do that most every week. I have my best friend kind of got me into doing that. But those things are important to me. Getting the facials done, getting all that done, those things are important to me. You have to begin to do things that are important to you. Even if you can't afford it, certain things that you can do. You can save money up. Put $5. You put $10 away every week. That's $40 at the end of the month. That's a pedicure. You put $5 away every month. Every 2 months, that's a pedicure. Even the frequency doesn't matter, but the fact that you love yourself and taking care of yourself matters. And it matters because the next thing that you're going to do is learn to give back to your community, be a part of your family, and love your friends. Let me tell you something. Family is a very, very touchy situation for a lot of people. But if you have any kind of family living on this earth, do your best to try to get along with them. Do your best to try to make things right with your family. Family is really important to me because I grew up in a huge family. But do your best in life to spend time with your family, spend conversations with your family, love your family, because I'm going to tell you what you're missing. No matter what you do out here in this world, who your family is ultimately who you are in a deeper sense. You are connected to them. You might have higher standards. You might have things that you have higher expectations. You might make more money. You might live better. But at the end of the day, they still part of your blood. They still part of your connection. And I'm going to tell you something. Ain't nothing more peaceful than having family than when something happens that can rally around you. And even your family, when I say family, sometimes the friends that God give you are closer to you than brothers and sisters. They'll rally around you. So make sure that you create a life where you got people that are rallying around you, not for your money, your fame, and for what you do, but simply because they love you and they want to be there for you. And give a contribution back to this world. This sister has had an uphill battle for a really, really long time. And it feels good to me right now to be able to share with you some of the things that I've gone through every single morning. So I want you to keep believing in yourself. Keep believing in what God has given you. Keep believing in the fact that the dream that you have in you is not too big. You probably playing it too small. You probably playing it too small. It's not too big, and it's not impossible to make that thing happen. You just got to position yourself in a place that you have confidence in yourself, that you have your self-esteem on point, that you are putting yourself in a place where you understand, listen, I can do this. I do have this. It might take me a little bit longer than it do everybody else. Ooh, and this is especially for those people that are over 40 years old. Especially for you that are over 40 years old, men and women. Let me tell you something. You ain't never too old to start. You the one who give the young people all the accolades. Oh, they got their life. Yeah, they got their whole life, but I'm going to tell you something. Their lives getting cut down too. Their lives get cut down like everybody else's. So that don't even matter. It don't matter if you 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. I don't care how old you are. If there's something that you always wanted to do, live your life in a way and get it done. Get it done. Stop wasting your time with the isms and schisms. I don't care about the mistakes you made. While you over here worried about making a mistake, it's people out here like me out here doing it. I might make a mistake, but guess what? At least I did it. And guess what? I'm going to learn from that mistake. And then the next time I'm going to be doing more of it. And the more mistakes that I make and learn from it, it's going to make me move a lot faster. You, on the other hand, sitting here in the background, I'm too old, or I ain't got the money, or ain't nobody going to believe. See, you don't understand this. And I'm really, 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 really finna get off of here on this one right here. Let me tell you something. There are people out here waiting for you to get in position. There are people out here who need whatever it is that you believe is too big for you to be doing. There's somebody out here who every morning that they get up, they wishing that they had somebody who did exactly what it is that you say you're doing. You might say, oh, girl, it's too many barbershops out there. It's too many hair salons out there. It's one on every corner where I'm from, and it could be. But guess what? It's somebody sitting around waiting for you to open up yours so they can come to you. Stop looking at the negative aspect and point of view of all the why you shouldn't. It's somebody out here waiting for you to open up that car wash that portable car wash. It's somebody out here waiting for you to open up that nursing home, waiting for you to open up that corner store, waiting for you to open up that grocery store, waiting for you to open up that bank. Yes, open up that bank. It's somebody out here waiting for you to use your celebrity status to be able to do stuff, do something, and create a movement and help support. Matter of fact, not even create a movement, but help support a movement like Meek Mills. Somebody out here in this world needs your celebrity status in order for them to be able to get what God has promised them. We are all, I don't care how you put it. At the end of the day, we are all connected and linked together. And every single one of us live our life the best way that we know how. Just because you over 40, just because you over 50, don't mean you can't go hard and blow it out the water. It don't mean you can't start your shoe line. It don't mean you can't start your clothes line. Heck, I wish some grown woman would start a clothing line for me. I wish she would. So that we ain't got to wear the same clothes that our children wear. You get what I'm saying? So we ain't got to shop in the same stores that our children shop just to get something that look nice. All these old women's stores with these flowers on clothes. I don't want no flowers on my clothes. Flowers belong in the garden, not on my shirt. I wish somebody would tell me about somebody who's selling sweatsuits that fit my body or pants that fit my body. I'm waiting for somebody to create something that a girl like me can put these thick thighs in and this big bum in and not have to worry about this much gap in the waistline that have to be sewed up all the time. I'm waiting for somebody to... I was in the shoe store yesterday buying shoes. My feet are short and wide. So I always have to get a size, at least a size and a half bigger depending on the shoe. But it's always too long. It's always too long. And so I have to put stuff in the front because my little feet is short, but they just short and fat. I have short, fat feet. I always have had short, fat feet. So if I had a shoe that was wide enough, and my length, I normally could fit in a 9. But because my feet are wide, I have to go up to at least a 10.5 to just get my foot in the shoe, even though it's too long. I just said, Lord, and I don't know who you are, God. Please let them be online right now on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, Instagram, please go invent shoes for sisters like me, because there's a whole lot of us out here with feet like that. I'm waiting for somebody to do this. Somebody is waiting for you to do what it is that God has ordained you to do. We need you to do what you need to do. I need somebody who will go and make gloves, the winter gloves. I have to always, once I find a pair of gloves that'll fit over these hands, oh my God, it's just so amazing. I have to keep them for years and years and years and years. I'd be glad when somebody creates some that's for my hand size so that I can get all the little special stuff. I'd be glad when somebody do those things. Somebody is waiting for you to do what you need to do. And you've been putting it off because now you feel like, went through so much. You too old. Oh, oh my God, I don't know how I would do that. Listen, it ain't nothing out there that you can't do. You find your coach. You find your mentor that's resourceful. You begin to look online. And God knows online, it ain't nothing that you can't find. Matter of fact, if you're going to make them shoes, make sure you inbox me. Go find you somebody in Italy, Switzerland, somewhere. Go get some Italian people. They know how to make shoes real good. English, Mexico, all of those places. Y'all go make them shoes so I can buy them because I'm going to buy all of them. I got so many pair of shoes, and I had to put myself on a shoe fast last year because I couldn't get no more. But anyway, my name is Mesha Lee, guys. Listen, thank you so much for being patient with me this morning. I do apologize for coming in just a little late, but it don't matter because guess what? I shows up. I shows up and I give you exactly what it is that you're supposed to have. I love you. You can follow me across all social media as Mesha Lee. Make sure you go to themeshalee.com if you're a professional stylist and look under shop. And I have a list of things that are on promotion all the way up until most of them to the end of the month with the Bronner Brothers special. So make sure that you go and check out some of those things and snatch up some of those things. Like I have the workbook. I have the vendor list. I have a whole lot of classes that I'm giving out. Make sure you go and snatch yours up today. Because all the classes end next Wednesday. All the other items end at the end of the month. So go snatch those up. And for those of you that are not hairstylists, go follow me on AkachiBeautySalons.com. We'll tell you about our events, upcoming things that we're going to do, all kinds of promotions we got going on. And make sure every single one of you that are looking at me right here on YouTube and on Instagram, go and Facebook, go subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Mesha Lee. I love you guys. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you in the morning at 6 o'clock.
The recording has stopped.
Bye, Instagram. YouTube, y'all subscribe to me. I think the button is over there somewhere. Subscribe.